Jellyfish. 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 Take some jelly, take some fish. Look at that sandwich, delish. Just make sure you don't eat a real jellyfish. Or you'll die! Jellyfish. 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 Jellyfish.
GM, welcome to Noun O'Clock Live at the Noun Square. We were getting a little jiggy with a jellyfish earlier because we're looking at Noun 687, a very business jellyfish, currently up for auction with a bid of 30 ETH. That 30 ETH bid we'll talk about in a little bit. It's actually 30 ETH bid from the auto bidder that we just approved by Noun's proposal last week. So this is actually the first Noun potentially being bought by an auto bidder for the DAO to be given to a builder. So if you were planning,
just came out with max bid.
Yeah, they came. That's how it works. It's 30 ETH min or max bid in the last hour is how that thing is programmed to work. So
that's crazy.
There you go.
That's what happened. And currently, I don't see any other bids coming in. Everybody seems to be ready to let the auto bidder take it. 1 minute, 1 second left on that auction. Here's what's going to happen if you're new here. First of all, we watch the NounsDAO auction together. That's what we do here every single day. As you can see in the title of this space, this is day number 315 without missing a beat. We've been doing this since June 13th of last year, so NBD. We watch the end of the Nouns auction. After that, we have a little process here where y'all can come up on stage and yell at me. I'm Toady. You can yell at me and tell me which nouns you like by looking at nomo.wtf. And I will try my best to snipe a noun that we like. I wasn't here yesterday, but Robot Fish Girl and Co. did a good job choosing this little jellyfish. We do have a request from a nouner for a garlic head, not an onion head. Don't get them twisted. So that's a possible thing that we could look for today. And that's all coming up in 10 seconds. As you know, physically impossible on the Ethereum blockchain for another bid to come in after 13 seconds. So this is going to go to the auto bidder for 30 ETH. And we are playing Nomo.
Nice.
So we're gonna mint this noun together. Once we're finished, we're gonna talk with our guest today. Super excited to have Jeff Jag here. He's gonna tell us all about his art and everything that he does. And hopefully, Jeff, you can so pitch in here and help us find a good noun.
Yeah, looking at the Nomo, is that the one?
Yeah, so Nomo.
We might be getting rugged.
Getting rugged.
Oh, you
Are we getting rugged?
Oh,
we did.
No,
We got rugged.
not you, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't even get a chance. Someone else settled a car, so that's what we're getting today.
The first ever car, though.
Womp womp. It is a nice car.
Yeah.
It is a nice car. So now we get to play another little game. Takes about 2 minutes of your time. It's super fun. You've got 38 seconds. If you're on nomo.wtf, you'll see a list of all the nouns that didn't get selected today to be the noun of the day. So they're not going to go for 30 ETH. They won't be able to call their parents and brag about it. But what they might be able to do is save a little bit of dignity if you choose them as the Nomo of the day. So in order to do that, all you have to do is choose the one you think is the best looking Nomo on this page and click it 1,000,000 times. Like if you think you're clicking fast enough, click twice as fast as that, and hopefully you'll be able to save it from the grasps of the others who are trying to save a Nomo. Let's do this live.
There are some very nice Nomos.
I'm going for Trogdor Toady.
Obviously. You had to.
Burning it in the swamp side.
It's just too good.
Yeah, there's too many good Nomos.
You guys can do what you want. I'm just going straight up.
Who's
I'm
voting
not
for
even
the
looking
baked
at the other
potato?
This robot with the cloud accessory is pretty good too.
Yeah, peyote grenade is off the charts.
Yeah.
Cardinal, I'm surprised you're not going for the Cardinal kiss.
I think he's on the bagpipes.
I was.
Kind of
We got a dino idea.
I was diverting. Yeah.
We got a oh no.
That potato's so good. It's going though.
Potato kicks the bucket. We're down to a Cardinal kiss. A dino idea.
That
a trogdor toad.
that dino is when you don't question whether you should.
Not my toad. Not the toad. Not the toad.
I'm trying to save it, but I don't think we're gonna be able to. No.
We've got like 15 people playing
I can't
this
believe
today.
you just
like,
burninated my trogdor toad. How could you do this to me?
It's awesome when there's lots of
Posting
people.
this thing if you can't
This is
socially pressure people into voting for your toad.
This is close.
This is very close.
This is so close.
Come on, Peyote. I think we're gonna get it. Come on.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
That was amazingly close.
All right,
That
well,
was so close.
I didn't know you could have that much fun.
Right? Well, welcome to 9 o'clock at the Noun Square. Your mind will be blown by how much fun you can have minting an NFT of all things. Well, we got a peyote grenade, which sounds like a really weird, like custom cocktail that someone would have at their wedding. Hey, have you tried the peyote grenade? Be careful, only have one. This is Nomo Noun number 688, peyote grenade. So you have your choice. If you'd like, you could put a bid in on the noun of the day. Probably you're going to have to bid in and around 26, 27 ETH to have a chance to take this directional car noun down. Or alternatively, you could mint a Nomo noun for 0.0069 ETH, the affordable alternative. You get to have a beautiful noun in your wallet. You enter yourself into the Lucky Nomo draw, which we do every single day, and give away free NFTs from our Nomo wallet to one minter of yesterday's Nomo. You get access in our TNS Discord to the Nomo Zone, where Symbiotech is constantly putting new drops and NFT news in there that you can't get anywhere else in the Discord. And of course, minting a Nomo helps us to do everything that we do here at TNS. We are funded by Nouns and very grateful for that, but trying to have a process here where we work towards being less reliant on DAO funding and more self-sufficient, and this is one of the ways that we are doing that. So really appreciate everybody for your support. Also appreciate you guys just coming out to this space every single day. We love it. We love you guys. And if you'd like to get more people in the room here for our chat with Jeff Jag, please retweet the room. We do a contest every single day, 0.069 ETH prize to one person who retweets the room. So little added zest there, a little bit added benefit if you retweet that room. How's everybody doing on this this Monday? Cardno, Ben, what's up?
Doing well, yeah. Good
fresh.
start to the week. And I think
Did
I
you?
think it'd be like a miss not to mention the lovely square PFP behind there as well.
Oh, Cardno, you're like, you know what? You're just the perfect boyfriend. You always notice when we get a haircut.
It's very good. It's a good look.
It's we are feeling a little bit square today. It's not to flex on you, but we may have just gotten ourselves a little bit golden verified here at TNS. So we're a little proud of it, and it's kind of fun. It's fun to used to be the hex that you'd flex, but now everybody wants to be square, right? And it's fitting, Noun Square.
It's on brand.
It's on brand.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And Ben had to point out so kindly that the beautiful rug of Nouny Clock that Maddie made me is now off-brand because it's circular. So, Maddie, I'm going to have to pay you again to make another square rug, it seems.
The PFP rug, yeah. I'm going to order a square one just because I hadn't really thought of it before, but it makes perfect sense that it's a square PFP, regardless of the platform.
I'm loving the pin there as well, Jeff. Getting the Nounish vibes going today. Great to see.
Yes,
Ooh.
I got those glasses at ETH Denver from someone who was I didn't know you could get them on the website, but I was happy enough to buy them on the spot from someone who had them from I think it was someone in the Noun community who was just awesome. Sharing the love. And I'd known about the Nouns for a while, and I was like, whoa, no way, I can get the actual glasses. I want these so bad. So
That's awesome. Well, the physical nouns glasses is one of my favorite stories to tell people about nouns because, as you probably know, nouns is a pretty decentralized organization, a true DAO, not just a LARPing DAO, and there's no centralized body to make physical glasses if we wanted them. But failing that, we've had at least 3 different, maybe 4 different people have made physical versions of the noggles. So the ones that you're wearing there are called the Fun Noggles, and those were made by Klim from Big Shot Toys. Who's a career toy maker who makes lots of awesome stuff. And then there were some designer versions by Salvino and Signora, what's her last name? Armati? Am I thinking that right, Ben? Salvino? Anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, they made like really nice, Italian-made type sunglasses that are sort of designer, and those are the designer ones. And then Motivate Me, the community manager for Cryptodes, last year for NFT NYC, took the tooling and the drawings from the Salvinos with his permission and made sort of a lower cost version to hand out there. And so those have made their ways around. So there's at least those 3. Plus, I've seen lots of people using 3D printers to make them and stuff. So it's kind of a great example of just sort of how decentralized building can be kind of cool.
There's also the Bud Light noggles if your head is tiny.
That's right. I forgot. I knew there was at least one more. So yeah, Bud Light also made some that I think they were actually were they included in packs of Bud Light at one point? Did that happen?
I don't know. I have some, and they're very small, but they're the same kind of thing with the Fun Noggles, where it's like a plastic sheet with a bunch of holes in it.
Right. Yeah.
They're cute. I dig them. They're good decoration.
All the noggles. That's all. That's basically the takeaway from this. Is if you want to make noggles, we need more. We need more.
Klim's got the lo-fi ones. I don't know if you mentioned those ones too.
No, I didn't. Yep, I forgot those ones.
Yeah.
They're actually really
cardboard
good.
Ones.
All
I
the
should have remembered that
novels.
because Atoshi gave me an entire bag full and forced me to smuggle them home with me after NFT NYC this year. So I've got a giant pile of them in my office here that I need.
Between the 2 of us, we probably have 300.
Probably. One thing's for sure, I need to go to another event now and bring these.
Yeah, you got to start hitting the streets. I got some that I take to local skate parks, and if I go see friends in different places and things like that, I take it down there and get photos with everyone and spread the good word. We're partying, man. This seems like a work thing. This is not work. I'm just telling you about the world.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining us today, Jeff. Appreciate you jumping right into the chaos of the NounsDAO auction and the FOMO bidding of the next noun, as well as the NOMO. Was the peyote the one you were going for, by the way?
I was going for the one with the red background and the star head. I like that one, and that one made it to kind of close to the top, but then I went for the dino, so I guess I lost.
So you lost on both counts? Yeah. Well, a lot of people, when they're thrown to the wolves here, they don't know that NOMO is as much a social game as it is a carpal tunnel game. You need to yell out and get people on your side so they can help you.
Social engineering.
I didn't do the strategies, but I'm happy with the peyote. That's a good one. Yeah, I've never done it, but I'm not opposed to. I'd try that.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's always a good way. This is what they mean. I think this is what they mean when they say NFTs are a gateway drug. You first you mint the NOMO. Next thing you know, Jeff Jag's on the peyote all weekend long. Be careful, everybody.
Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of hidden traits in my collection. There is a marijuana NFT in the Builders of Titania with the marijuana leaves, and there's also mushrooms. They're not the kind of mushrooms, but they're mushrooms.
Okay. All right. They're more like the healthy. They're like the healthy type of mushroom.
Like forest mushrooms. But they're made of glass, and there's builders all around. It's very fun.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Would love to hear about Builders of Titania and what you're building in Titania.
Oh, heck yes. So started this project, and it kind of meandered. It started off as a kind of an exploration of texture. Just abstract AI texture stuff. So if you go to buildersoftitania.com, there's a whole thing on there that follows different phases it went through, and kind of just all the sort of artistic exploration I took to get there. And then I finally settled in on this idea And shout out to Quantum Variant in the audience who gave me this idea to try to put some like little people in it. He's like, why don't you try to put little people in there? And I was like, oh, no way. That's such a good idea. So like I spent the weekend like messing with my text prompts. And my process is very much like I start with an AI generated image, then I bring it into Photoshop and mess with it, and then bring that image into another AI process and combine it with another text prompt. So it's very convoluted and complex, but it takes it through multiple steps, and it really, you know, puts my stamp on it. So I got this prompt working with these little guys showing up, and this whole thing started to happen where I just fell into this whole world of like creating a mythology for them. Like, what were they doing there? Why did they look like they do? What's going on? There's like all these little stories. Like when you look and you zoom in on the images, that they start off looking like one thing, and then you zoom in and see all those little guys in there, and it's like this little world. So I created a whole mythology.
These remind me of like a sci-fi version of those children's books that just have like characters all over the place, you know, and you have to like,
yes.
I get you. You know what I
like
mean?
Like a Where's Waldo style? Or
like Where's Waldo,
yeah,
but there's other ones too, yeah, where it's just like, you know, the whole point is for kids to just look at the same page for like hours and find all the little people. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That ended up being something that became a big inspiration for me. The Where's Waldo books. And I had to look it up because I was like, where's Waldo? And then I found on the Wikipedia page, it's like, yeah, they only call it Waldo in the United States. Like everywhere else in the world calls it Where's Wally.
Hey,
and
now
like,
we call it Where's
versions.
Waldo. We also call it Where's Waldo in Canada because we like to copy the U.S.
yes, exactly.
But everywhere
and
else,
there's like, you know, like Where's Jorge, or I don't know. There's different versions.
Is that the closest they could come? Really?
No, I just made that up. but yeah, like that thinking along the of like, you know, what are they doing in here? And so I came up with this idea that they're AI, that they're not real. And then I was like, well, I mean, not human. They're real, but like, you know, in my world. But then I was like, well, what about the humans? And I was like, well, the humans are dead, like long gone. And so this is like thousands of years in the future. This is us creating a life form that then has its own quirks and syncrasies, and it's like they're sitting on this world, which is actually, when I came up with Titania, I was like, what is this? And I Googled it because I just came up with a word that sounded cool. And I was like, this is an actual moon on the planet of Uranus. And so I was like, then, yeah, that just drove it all home for me, because I was like, I'm a huge space nerd. So like the fact that it's a real moon really kind of made it cool. And just, you know, different from other moons, which are named after like Greek and Roman mythology, the moons on Uranus are named after characters from Shakespeare. So Titania is the queen of fairies in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Well, and as a plus too, in the future, once this launches and people say when moon, you can just say, you know, already.
It is the moon. Yes, exactly. It's the moon. So this like whole thing about where they are, and they're just like building away, and like, why are they doing it? And it's just like a really fun thing to explore. So yeah, and a bunch of people who collaborated with me on the project are in the room right now as well.
Okay, and who are they? Can we get them up here?
Yes, shout outs to Animate Dead, Quantum Variant, and Sarah Script. There's two others who are Denver Donkey and Jessica Utrovsky, who are not here, but they are here in spirit. And they created...
I think I sent a request out to all those, but if someone's missing a request, please give us a request and we'll be happy to bring you up on stage and chat more about it. So this is if anyone hasn't checked this out, go to buildersoftitania.com and just take a look at the art. First of all, the art is stunning. I think it's really neat. I love how you said you basically collaborate with the AI to kind of create these textures and these, you know, places. In your prompt craft, like where do you take inspiration? Like, do you take inspiration from actual places first, or just like from your imagination?
So it started off just being like dystopian tech, like kind of really inspired by just like technology, circuits and circuit boards, and and sort of like broken down buildings and stuff. And then I kind of went into this other thing. I started playing with the prompts a bunch, and I got them to still do the same thing where these little guys were appearing, and I could change up the environment. So I did snow, I did jungle, I did desert, um I did a bunch of them. So there's 11 total different biomes in the world. And so each one of the source images was either inspired by one of those or completely different. And when you run it through the process, it turns it into that biome. So it's like it either was snowy and then became more snowy, or it was like fire and volcanic and then became underwater. So there's some really cool mixes of biomes in this world that's like impossible stuff happening. I love it.
Did you maybe want to speak to showing it for the first time at East Denver, some like early visions of it and what it was like to see it large on a screen like that?
Oh yeah. So yes, my first public showing of the project after like 5 months of working on it in private was at East Denver at the Marijuana Mansion, which was an event put on by the Web3 lounge. And so they had a space there, and they had these big vertical screens, like 55-inch, in the corner of every room. And this whole building was like, each room has a different kind of, well, each one of them has its own interior design. So each room had its own biome too. And it was like different sort of things. You wander from room to room. There was a bunch of samples, wink, wink, nudge, nudge samples at the Marijuana Mansion. And so people were just walking around, talking about art, looking at art. And I had my stuff in the corner of one room going, and it was on like this loop, and it would play for like 20 minutes of just like 150 or so different pictures from the collection. And it was so good to get feedback on it and really hear people, get excited about it. And people were like stopping me and be like, "Hey, is that yours?" And I'd be like, "Yeah," because they saw the logo in the corner. And yeah, I got really kind of pumped about it because there was some real feedback of people seeing the art and seeing it big, which was really cool. All the images are 4K or higher. There's one image that's 18,000 pixels tall, which is, I guess, a little bigger than a screen can handle. But whoever gets that one, prep your file storage because it's gonna take up some space. Get ready to zoom in too, because there's lots there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sometimes the epic art you see out there, you're kind of like, you go to zoom in, even if it's in 4K and you've got a 4K screen, you zoom in, like, this is amazing. I can't even imagine 18,000. That's huge.
Have you ever seen any of the infinite zoom art, Jeff, where people kind of make it so that like the art is different every time you zoom in? I wonder if it'll feel like that at all, because it's so high res.
Yeah, I love that stuff, that AI stuff where you kind of like, it just keeps creating new stuff as you keep going. I wanted to do something like that for the trailer and ended up not being able to really replicate my style, and then I kind of ran out of time. So I was like, you know what, for the trailer, I'm just going to do these morphing effects that look really cool too. So there's a lot of those in there. And those are like a StyleGAN type morphing effect, where it like switches between one image to the other and reminds me of the 90s.
Very cool. Okay, so let's come back to the project itself, Builders of Titania. How exactly will the mechanics work? Is each piece a place that gets minted, and then there's other like pieces that get minted on top of it? Am I understanding that correctly? Or if not, can you explain how the drop will work?
Yeah, no, it's 1,024 pieces, and they're all one of ones. They each will have an individual title. So they're each going to be a piece of, like their own artwork, and they fit into the biomes so that they would be like, that's just the traits kind of. And then there's a lot of hidden traits of things that are kind of, there's stuff I wanted to be in the collection, but I didn't want to call it out specifically and have it be searchable. Like, I didn't want it to be searchable. I wanted people to find them, So that's kind of, I thought that was a fun thing to try. So it's not out of complete laziness. I actually just thought it would be more fun if people were like, because there's some of them that have hidden faces, and I felt like if I just tagged them and put like this one has a hidden face, that would ruin the fun of discovering it and finding the face, because like not everyone sees it right away. And so like if you look at it close up, like full screen, you'll be like, this is cool. But then when you zoom out and look at it as a thumbnail, you're like, holy crap, there's a face there. So like, that's super fun. So the mint mechanics, getting back to that, they're all just one of one artworks minted on my Nifty Kit drop.
Very cool. And when does that drop?
The pre-sale starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's for the allow list, and that'll go for a week. It was really important for me to give time for my collectors and collectors of my collaborators to just like have a chance to get the pieces at the discounted price, because it's like I always get, this is a little pet peeve of me, but I always get like, if you're gonna offer a discount, like give me time to get it. You know what I mean? Like especially with gas the way it is lately, I just don't want people to be rushed into it, and I want there to be at least one weekend where people can go on a Saturday night when gas is really low and picks them up. So if you want to time that, you know, I'm just like, you know, let people have that option, and I'm giving people a plenty of ways to get in on the allow list. So there should be lots of options for that.
And where
the
can
snapshot
people follow
for that? Sorry, the snapshot for that happens in an hour on my token. So if you own one of my tokens, or no, in about an hour. If you own any one of my Ethereum tokens or my Tezos tokens, by 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. my time, you will be in the snapshot.
So that was actually my next question. Is this drop on Ethereum or on Tezos?
It's on Ethereum. I just wanted to I just wanted to throw out there, like, because people have collected my work on Tezos. I didn't want to like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to give them the option. So if you DM me and you're one of my collectors on Tezos and you haven't had the option to collect on Ethereum yet, and you want to get in on the builders, like I'm not going to be like, no, you know? So
yeah,
it's a more of a manual thing to check that, but I'll be doing that because that's no problem.
Awesome. So if people have their interest peaked here and they'd like to collect a Titania piece, they have an hour to collect something else of yours, either on ETH or on Tezos before the snapshot. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, I'd say Tezos is by far the cheapest option, but if you wanted an ETH token of mine, my collection Fiat Heads, if you go to fiathed.com, and there's a link up at the top for one of those, or wait, maybe I didn't link that one. I'll put it up. There's a 0.04 floor on those right now. Or 0.04 maybe. It's low. There was someone who floored like 20 of them, so you know. So
this is an interesting collection. I'm looking at them now. They're very creepy, that's for sure. What's the story behind these ones? I see obviously a lot of fiat, a lot of greenbacks, and some heads, and very scary combinations.
Yeah. Fiat Heads was my first AI. I call it boutique AI PFP because it was a collection of 666 created in AI. I hand photoshopped and Procreate illustrated over every single one of them, modified them up, and then I did multiple versions where I updated certain ones more than once and denoted that with new metadata, because you can update metadata in the smart contract. So I did that and played around with some of the dynamic aspects of NFTs with that one. That one minted at the end of May 2022. So it is one of the earliest AI PFPs on Ethereum, I believe. Not the first, I know that, but it's earlier.
That's pretty cool. Going back to Builders of Titania for a second, I'm just on the site here looking. The sort of above the fold, I feel like the imagery almost looks like pixel. It's not quite, but it has that feeling. Can you tell me if that aesthetic was on purpose in that piece, or if it's just kind of like artifacts of the AI process?
Oh, which one are you referring to?
So when you go to Builders of Titania, it's actually the trailer. My bad. The trailer's at the top, and it's sort of the thumbnail of the trailer. Basically, looks like it could be out of a a video game, a pixel video game almost is the aesthetic that
gotcha.
I'm kind of picking up.
The like you're saying, like the before you press play on it, it's got like this, it's got the words, but it looks like it's in the world.
It feels like theme park world, or like a roller coaster tycoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, the aesthetic
SimCity
is very much inspired by those isometric games. So yes, that the word isometric is in part of my prompt, and that's a little alpha there, I guess. But in terms of what the images are creating, like I like that sort of view. Like there's a lot of perspective in it where the world kind of looks bigger, and I wanted to make sure that the architecture would come across, because I'm a big, like, I don't do architecture, but I'm a fan of the buildings and styles and sort of structures. One of my other collections was called Rent Heads, that was heavily inspired by architecture, and so like having that part of it, it was really fun to explore it, and so I kind of incorporated that aspect to kind of tie it together and make it look more like big structures in the world where there's these little guys like walking around in there. So like it kind of allowed it to be more of like a perspective on the world, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. If anyone else, we do have Quantum here, actually. I forgot we should go to Quantum here. Maybe he has some things to share about working on this project with you. Welcome, Quantum.
Hey, how are you? Happy to be on a Noun stage. Symbiotex always raved about the little nouns and all the noun stuff. So it was fun being here in the first like you guys clicking. That was really a lot of fun. I haven't had that much fun in a Twitter Spaces in a long time. So definitely want to come back. It was really interesting, kind of like seeing the behind the scenes process with Jeff making the original collection. And it was really cool. And I was just like, there's just something missing. And it popped into my head to put the little guys in there. And I was just like, Jeff, you need to have something like the scale, like changing the scale up for something that he was creating to where it is now. Like all it needed was like a hint of a spark, and Jeff like took it and blew it up into an entire like universe. So it's so wild to see like the evolution of this project over, back in DMs, like 8 months ago or something like that. It's wild. I'm really proud to have a piece in the collection as a collaboration piece. It's my work is more abstract and very kind of, pixelated abstractness, and Jeff took a piece and just made it completely different, but the same. So when you see both together, you'll be like, I get it. And I can see where Jeff goes with these things. So I'm excited for this project and excited to see this launch in this chaos time. It always seems to be Jeff's superpower is to launch during chaos times and do really well. So
is this a chaos time? I feel like we've just been in nothing but chaos times for the last 8 months, so you might as well just embrace the chaos.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things that we do is just like, you know what? If we're creating things and we're building things and we're artists, we're still creating. Who cares what the time is, right? Bad times, good times, like we're here for it. So someone has to lead the way. And Jeff is going to do it again, I think.
Well, so one thing I love that AI does really well, and you see it in a lot of AI art, is like, I don't know exactly how to describe this, but subtle patterns, like overlaying subtle patterns into like complicated scenery, if you will. So like a lot of these that I'm looking at as they scroll across, a lot of them have like motifs of like skulls, and sometimes the skulls are in the negative space. And I feel like the artistic talent to do that, even as a human, is super difficult, but AI seems to do it pretty seamlessly. We've seen a lot of this actually with Jack Butcher's project OpePen recently, when he's been encouraging people to run the OpePen sort of geographic form through Nouns AI, and it like translates that constraint, I guess, to much more complicated visuals. Any thoughts on that, Jeff, and what that sort of unlocks for you as an artist?
Oh gosh, yeah, that was one of the most fun parts about this. I have to say, like, having been doing this, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 hours a day for the last 6 months now, just like in the morning, throughout the afternoon, and then I have this stretch of the middle of the day where it's like only family, and then at the end of the day, I go back to my computer and stay up way too late. So I've been just doing this, and the whole thing, like, it's about this feeling. It's so addicting because you come up with something cool, and then I run it through the process of the like I fine tune this process over experimentation for like months and months and months until I get to this point of it starts with something and then it turns into something else, and then when you see what comes out of that, because it's heavily influenced by me, but it's like there's this abstraction or this moment of taking the words I use plus the image I gave it and coming out with something else, and it's just like this revelation moment where you're like, wow, that's so cool, and it's so unique and fun to have that experience with your own artwork because it's a very much like a feedback loop to yourself of like putting something in, getting something back, putting something in, and you just keep iterating and playing with that until you just take it as far as you possibly can. And then you've got, I don't know, 30,000 images that you have to whittle down to, something that people can partake in.
Right. That's really cool. Any other questions from anyone else up on stage here about Jeff's art, about Titania?
Well, I just want to speak a little bit to maybe the tools, because I introduced you to the Nouns Playground, which is our AI pod execution, and I know that you've played around with it. Have you incorporated any finished pieces, or is that one of the filters you run your work through on occasion? What's that
Yes.
experience
Oh,
been
yeah.
like?
Thank you for mentioning that. The Nouns Playground was really fun because it gave me a bunch of. I used it in the sourcing of images. So it was like in the first round, I'd create. So most of them were created in Midjourney, but there's a good segment of them where I developed whole new prompts in Nouns AI Playground that like they may or may not have had noggles in them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But excuse me, the there's just a really cool aesthetic to it, and I had a lot of fun playing with it. I feel like it is almost a little bit of my secret weapon, because it's so different than, I don't know, whoever developed it. And I want to say thank you to, because it was very helpful to me. I made a lot of images that ended up being initial images that were then processed through my Stable Diffusion prompt.
I'm glad. I'm glad somebody brought this up because that was something I wanted to mention as well. It's actually our Nouns AI group, the pod. It's 4 people primarily that work on it, plus some other contributors, and they've been just doing so much awesome work. And obviously, as you know, the field itself is moving at lightning speed, and they've been doing a weekly call to update us all on the DAO and everything they're working on. And we have that weekly call coming up tomorrow morning. If you're free, it'd be really cool if you want to drop in and talk to the pod, maybe tell them how you used it and give them some feedback. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yes. Yeah, it was super fun using that one. It opened up a lot of like the technology stuff, and I used it a lot in some of the closer up versions of the snow biome. So that's where it shows up a lot. That one and some of the building ones where it's just like a stack of technology. It came up with some really cool things where it looks like a bunch of 90s PCs thrown in like some kind of like landfill, but then some kind of Wall-E creature came around and stacked them all up, and then the builders came and turned it into a structure that was like, a building that people live in. It's nuts.
I was going to say that when I was looking at some of the pieces earlier, is that including the little builders, the little guys, was kind of like a stroke of genius in a way, because it actually like contextualizes the whole piece. Like all of a sudden it goes from being like abstract to looking like, okay, yeah, this is like a factory or whatever, it looks like a little place that little guys live, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, totally. And I encourage, if you're just listening and you're like, what the heck's he talking about? Take a look at some of the pictures in my timeline, and I encourage people to zoom in on those, like open them big and put them put them in a program where you can zoom in closer, or save them to your phone and pinch to zoom on them, because you get into those little worlds that they're making, and it tells so many stories. And I think that's the fun part about it, is that there's an overall story that I'm creating, and then each image has like it's got like its own 10 to 100 different stories of what's going on inside. So
that's awesome. So did I hear you say that there may or may not be some noggles hidden in some of these pieces?
Yeah, there's a noggles token.
Hit the wrong button.
Save. Alpha. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, definitely not. Why is that one so long?
Because I wasn't thinking when I recorded it.
That's fair. That's all right. Awesome. Well, Jeff, super excited that we were able to host you here today. I want to throw it out there to anyone in the audience. Of course, it's always casual here on 9 o'clock live. If you would like to come up on stage and ask some questions of our guest, you're welcome to do that. Just request to come up using the button on the bottom left. If you're up here on the stage and you have a question for Jeff, obviously just unmute your mic or put your hand up and we'll call on you. But yeah, any questions at all for Jeff? We got one person coming up here, so just a second. We've got Sarah Script coming up with potentially a question for Jeff. Sarah Script.
I think she was one of the collaborators, right?
Yeah, that was one of the collaborators.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, she's one of the official collaborators. Oh, she's raising her hand. Okay.
Awesome. She's so polite. She's so polite. Sarah, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. You said that there are over 1,000 pieces and that they're individually named. And I may have missed this, but did you name them all yourself? Did AI have a hand in that as well?
These are all Jeff Jag named.
Oh my God, you're insane.
Yeah.
Jeff's previous career, for those who don't know, was naming all the paint chips for Sherwin-Williams. So he had some practice.
I did use AI to create individual descriptions for my last collection, which was super fun. But I figured this time I wanted to have that world building kind of, sort of mythology aspect on it, Sarah. And by the way, I would love for you to name yours and Quantum as well, because that I think is really important. But like all the collaborators are, I forgot to mention this. I need names from you guys, but that should be easy. It's just one piece.
I love when we do these spaces and they just turn into like live stand-ups. That's unironically my favorite thing.
In the builder sense, not in the comedy sense, because we're not quite there on the comedy. We're working.
Well, yes,
but builder stand-ups all day long. Yeah, I think we better get those names in before the collection goes live.
Yep. And that's the fun part, is that the collection will be minting tomorrow, but they'll be unrevealed until 5/2. So May 2nd is the day they reveal, and then as soon as the public sale starts, they'll all reveal as minted if there are any left. But that's one of those things we all hope for, is that we just have that reveal day and they're all gone.
Well, especially when you've put so much love and time into something. We wish you all the best with the collection, and you can tell just by looking at the previews here that a lot of work went into this collection. So
yes, thank you so much. And if anyone wants to check out that trailer or share that out, that's like how I'm kind of showing off to people. This is my first time attempting to do a trailer for an NFT collection. Definitely was an experience where I kind of had to get over this hurdle of not being an audio guy. So I was pretty proud with how it turned out, because I used some free, copyright free, royalty free music. And one of them is like someone reading a children's book of like the night before Christmas, and I just chopped up pieces of it and made it fit with the story. Okay. And then I got some like old ragtime piano in there, and then incorporated like the movie trailer dun 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 kind of thing going. So it was really fun getting through that mental hurdle. And then I'm a motion graphics designer
like a
by
fever
trade.
dream. It sounds like a fever dream, but
yeah,
did
I'm
you
a motion
use
designer, so
did
I'm
you
good
use
with the
AI
visuals.
for that by chance?
Yep. No, well, not for the trailer creation. I use After Effects,
Okay.
but but pieces in it were created with AI. The motion where it morphs from one thing to another, those were AI.
Definitely check out the video capabilities of NounsAI.wtf, because I know one of the team members has been working exclusively on that, and it's been pretty crazy what they've been able to do in terms of like using image prompts to put out actual video that looks pretty fluid. It's pretty nuts.
I need to check that out. It's been a little while since I was in the pre-production phase, so I'll have to hit that back up.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming to talk to us about this. We do have one other person that came up on stage, actually, Roots. Did you have a question for Jeff? Roots and Ego, are you there? No, maybe they're AFK. Maybe they'll come back.
Can I ask? Can I talk to Sarah real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We're just going to listen though. Is that okay?
Yes, that sounds perfect. Okay. So Sarah came up with this piece that she had been, showing a group of us in DM, and she went through this iterative process. And so this piece that she showed, she ended up not going with it for the final version, and the one that we ended up collaborating on, I was like, can we use this for the project, because it was something I really liked and I loved how it came out, and I was like, it's so sad to me that people won't be able to see it. And so it was just a really fun collaboration that we got to like take this kind of B-side from her and incorporate it into like a whole other world. And I think people will be able to tell right away which one it was when they see it. Obviously, that one will have metadata identifying her as the artist, but yeah, I can't wait to see who mints the collab pieces. Joseph's is super cool. It's like this insane like wall. It looks like his piece, but it also looks like this like massive photo of a building with all these different doors and windows, and there's like foliage growing all over it. And with Sarah's, it was I would like for her to talk about the inspiration of that if we have time for that, because it was a really interesting piece, and she has a different version of it that's been minted.
Absolutely. Would love to hear about that.
Oh, yeah. The piece that Jeff and I ended up collaborating on was the second iteration of I wanted to draw the feeling of being like pulled into a grand mal seizure. And the feeling for me was like falling down a hill. So I was drawing like a grassy hill with a small bed at the top, and then just like kind of pills and like other like childhood items like bears and books and things. And then like I decided not to use it because I felt like it just wasn't like reading well, or I don't know. I wanted to use more of like a set like room image where it just felt like slightly more grounded in reality. But then I gave it to Jeff and Jeff like took it somewhere that I like would have never gone. Like it's just so cool. I can't wait for y'all to see his output. And I think he told me that he worked like an entire day or more on just my single image for this Builders of Titania collection, which is insane. But it also shows like once you see it and once you see how he was able to put it into his world, and but also like not lose the meaning behind my piece, like it's just incredible. So yeah, I cannot wait to share that image. Yeah, congrats, Jeff.
Thanks. Yeah, it was quite so like to kind of talk about the process. I took her picture. I think I made something like 60 different versions of it. Like just went seriously like different settings, different prompts. So like I actually came up with a whole Builders of Titania Sarah script prompt because it wasn't getting where I needed it to go without actually editing the prompt. And then I took, I think, 6 or 7 of those, photoshopped them together, and came up with like this really cool composite. And then I took that one and put it back into the SaraScript prompt and bumped it up to like major like resolution. So that was, it was so fun to work on these collabs. And I wanted to like kind of shout this out because some of the little alpha that I want to kind of let people know is that there's the official collabs that are part of this, and then there's going to be an option for people to collaborate with me. And I don't want to like go too far into like what that's going to be, but if you're lucky enough to get that option, there's going to be ways for people to incorporate their art or other people's art in with this collection, because it's like that part of the process was so much fun for me. I want to keep doing that, and I want to identify those official collabs as like the first ones, and then there'll be another way to identify. So that's I mean, you know, the word utility has so much like baggage in this space, but it is definitely a utility I'm planning.
Yeah, we don't use the U word here on this. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like
we don't like talking about utility.
That kind of brings me back to the early iteration on adding builders, because it had a real Frank Oz, Fraggle Rock, Doozers vibe in its earliest, explorations, I guess you'd say. It was quite a bit of fun to watch it go from his initial work. And Jeff's projects are always incredibly well thought out, and he exhausts every avenue before he launches. So always appreciate collecting his work.
Thank you so much. That was very kind of you to say. I do feel like that is true. So it's cool to hear someone say that.
Jeff, I'd love to ask you about nouns. You mentioned that you met some folks at, was it ETH Denver, and they gave you some noggles. What is your sort of exposure experience with the Nouns project been as an artist in the space?
Oh gosh, I would honestly say some of my earliest exposure to it, other than just it being one of those ones where I was like, wow, that's a big project. They're selling for insane amounts. And then, being like, well, I can't afford that, obviously. So I kind of just was like, oh, I wonder, that's neat. But then I found out about the DAO, that you guys support artists and support projects. And that kind of came through talking to Symbiotech about stuff like that. And I would say that my first kind of real inroads with it was the playground, because I was so deep into my AI world that like getting a chance to play with the Nouns AI playground was one of the things that kind of drew me closer into it and made me think about it a little bit more. And then once I realized it was CCO and that, there was options for collaborations and stuff like this, I was like, yeah, I want to like, I love getting into communities and having something that kind of gives back and plays around. I was Cauliflower in the Pizza DAO, which was the NFT Bitcoin Pizza Day thing that they did. And, Snacks is a really great guy. So just getting to know real DAOs that are doing real good work and funding projects in the community and seeing them at events and stuff like that. It's just like you get a feel for who's really doing stuff and who's really kind of helping the community grow and showing it in a good light versus the NFTs are a scam, crypto's a scam, like that whole narrative in the media. I think that it's important for us to focus on things that are the true, ethos of why we're here, which is to build and to make cool things and uplift people.
Well, that speaks to one of my favorite things about Nouns, which is that you can get exposed to sort of the DAO and the community in many different ways. Like in your case, it was a tool, being built by a pod that's funded by the DAO that happens to overlap with your own, artistic endeavors. And in other cases, it might be Nouns esports because that's, an interest that someone else has, or extreme athletes in the case of NounsDAO, or, restaurants in the case of Food Nouns, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these different sort of vectors for people people to sort of find out how they can get involved with Nouns, up and above and completely aside from, bidding 27 ETH on an auction to win a token.
Exactly. Like there's more aspects to it. It's just really important to me to put things to showcase the things that that matter, to showcase things that are helping people, to bring projects to people, and more widespread. And I've been a big proponent of giving back and giving information in the community. Me and Joseph actually run a weekly space, have been doing so for over a year, called Smart Contracts for Artists, where we talk about no-code solutions and help artists get on smart contracts so they can have ownership of their artwork. And that's been something that's just a passion project of ours, where we're going out there and spending an hour to 3 every Wednesday, and just making sure people know what their options are, and giving them inspiration to getting on smart contracts, and how Ethereum plays a role in that, and what it means to artists to have sovereignty and provenance and all that stuff.
I love that. Robot Fish Girl, I'm not going to say it. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to say it. We have a joke here on TNS that provenance is only provenance if it's from the Provenance region of France. Otherwise, it's just... yeah.
I made that joke one time, and Tony latched onto it. Like his life depended on it.
Wouldn't you think provenance would come from Italy, though? Like Provo? I don't know.
You would think that, but you'd be wrong. It's from the Provenance region of France. I'm just kidding. I do have one.
It's a riff on champagne. That's
right. All right.
I have a pretty simple question. For someone new to your artwork and to everything, like just looking into this rabbit hole, what's the best way to get involved in your currently about to mint situation? Obviously, there's a week of whitelist or previous collectors. So I guess like what direction do you go in? Do you go and collect some of your artwork, or how does it work for someone new to your entire ecosystem?
Yeah, anything that is on a smart contract that I've created, and even my OpenSea stuff, is eligible. I don't think anything is listed on that stuff, but there's like my Fiat Heads collection, there's a couple things on the floor. And so at the top, there's that pin, want to get in on the presale. That's one way. And I think it's pretty cheap to go that route, because there's a couple things on the floor there that are relatively cheap. I think they're 0.004, if I remember right. So those are the cheapest thing. The next cheapest would be 0.009, and that's my open edition. So if you're just curious and getting some art, it's my 2023 open edition that you can get to. I will pin that link up as well. I have that one in here, and it's amazing.
So it's quite cheap to get involved from the beginning, get onto this whitelist.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you have to do anything once you've purchased some of your art? Do you have to make any moves to get whitelisted, or are you just automatically going to keep importing addresses each day or something?
Yep. Well, there's a cutoff today, so that I can spare myself the stress of that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's just a lot. I've done that before, where I just keep going in and updating it. And in certain cases, if someone's like, a collector of mine, a longtime collector, and they put their thing in their hardware wallet, and I took the snapshot, and they're like, now I'm minting from this wallet, I'll just go and add it. But like, that's because, I'm going to do that service for my collectors. If it's a situation where it's like a new collector, then I'll just be like, I'm sorry, but it looks like it, we have to wait until the public. I don't want to shut people out, but at the same time, I want to give them as many options as possible and as many opportunities as possible up until a point, because it's my sanity enough on the line.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Jeff,
yeah.
Jeff, have you ever played the game Lemmings? Back in the day?
That is another reference that I love, and one that I've really, yes, I have played that game. I grew up playing PC games like that, and I love when people bring that one up, because it makes me feel like nostalgic for those times of like, it feels like these little guys walking around, like you could see them living their own lives and just like, you know what I mean? Like the lemmings, you have to keep them from falling off the cliff and get them to the goal, and that's the game.
Or at least
But
some of
you
them
would
anyway.
like,
Some of them you can watch them die. But yeah.
you have like a quota.
But
Some
what
of them
I'm
you
saying
blow up
is
on
when
purpose.
when 3D Lemmings of Titania is what I'm saying. That's what I want to see.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying is that I'm not going to say there won't be a game. But this all depends on how well AI advances in the next couple months.
Alpha. That's the last alpha we can get out of Jeff tonight. He said, or today, he said only 2 pieces of alpha per show. So that's fair. We don't want to push him too hard. Appreciate you, Jeff, for joining us here today on 9 o'clock live. It's been super exciting and interesting to hear about what you're working on, and best of luck on the mint over the next week. Best of luck to anyone who wants to get on that whitelist. I guess you've got about less than an hour to grab one of his pieces and make sure that you qualify. We, of course, have some housekeeping items, as always, to take care of. We like to give away things here on 9 o'clock live. So we've got a lucky Nomo winner from yesterday's mint who's going to win a Nounish NFT from our Nomo vault. We've got a retweet picker winner to pick. We've got a free POAP to give out. Before we do that, though, I noticed that we've got the Bower up on stage. I always never know if it's the Bower or the Bower. Maybe today's the day we get to find out, because I usually just see his written posts on Twitter. But wanted to invite him because I saw that he just posted an entry to the $200,000 Nouns video contest. So maybe he wants to talk to us about that briefly if he's around.
Hey guys, I'm here. GM. Yeah. So we just posted our entry for the 200K video contest, and yeah, we've been working on it. I think since the idea came to life and the day that it was posted today, I think it's about 2.5-3 months, and I was onboarding a lot of people into this project, and we got a lot of great people working on the animation and the jingle, and we got this result, and we just posted it today, and I'm super proud of what we've done. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, I would really appreciate it. We need 2,000 views to qualify. So now we got about 6 days to do that. So we're starting the grind, sharing with everybody that we know to get us there.
Awesome. Well, I pinned it above here if anyone wants to take a look. I didn't get a chance to watch it before the space, so I'll definitely take a peek myself after, but the thumbnail looks pretty cool. But you still do have to tell us if it's the Bower or the Bower.
It is the Bower. That's how I say it.
The Bower, doxed live on 9 o'clock.
Doxed. Yep. You got me.
Actually, that's probably more. But we appreciate you joining us, and hopefully people will check that out and give it a watch and give it a like if they enjoyed it. Did we just get Mr. Woody in the house, Mr. Super Tight Woody, flexing his Gremplin PFP?
I'm a new man. I'm a new person. I'm ready to go. I feel great. It's a new day. The Noun Square is actually square, and we're ready to get it.
You're moisturized in your lane, etc.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I'm feeling real moisturized, and I'm feeling I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but yeah, I'm feeling great.
It's a meme.
Moisturized, thriving.
It's a meme. But yeah, I mean, this is basically the epitome of don't ask, don't get. Woody just posted on his last day in New York with a photo of himself in front of the Statue of Liberty and said, boy, wouldn't it be great if I had a Gremp drawing of this? And, Gremp came through. I'm going to start doing that daily until he blocks me.
Shout out to Gremp.
Wish me luck.
And he is block happy as well, isn't he? So it won't take too long.
I wouldn't say he's block happy.
Oh, he blocks loads of people. I remember like when he went down the burn for the Nakamigos, like there was loads of like Twitter influencers, crypto influencers, like they only just realized then that he'd blocked them. I think it was like ding-a-ling and all. I was like, hang on a minute, I'm blocked by Gremplin.
Well, I mean, he did say he wasn't even going to stay on Twitter, so you're lucky he's even still here.
I think we should normalize more blocking, because I think it really equates to mental health sometimes. You know, a lot of people feel like it's a weird thing to do, but I've blocked a lot of people. Not a lot of people, but I've blocked like a lot of people that have made me not feel great, and I think that should be normalized.
I mean,
100%.
You can justify it however you want, Woody, but I don't think I deserved it. You know, I was just teasing you, and I would urge you to reconsider.
I just muted you. I didn't block
all right.
you.
Okay, that's fair, actually. That's fair. I'd like to do that to myself sometimes. All right, let's go to OpenSea. We are going to do a lucky Nomo draw. One lucky minter from yesterday's about to win a Metasquare, which is a beautiful open edition that was done for us by Meshup, an amazing Nounish artist. It was a limited open edition, so you can't mint it anymore. But we have some in our Nomo vault, and we're about to send one to one lucky Nomo winners from yesterday. I think I just combined winner and minter, which turned out to be also
one lucky Nomo winter.
I think we just
sounds awful.
I think we just survived Nomo winter already. So
I was going to say.
Let's not go back. All right, can I get a drum roll, please, for our winner? This hair is on fire. It's Lit Bunny. Lit Bunny on OpenSea. Congratulations. You are the winner of our Lucky Nomo draw today, and you will have a Square edition coming your way. Now time for the retweet picker, someone who was in this space and retweeted it for us. Can I get another drum roll if it's not too much trouble? If a drum roll. It is Project 50. Project 50 ETH. You know what? I'm really getting a little bit curious about this Project 50. He's been in our spaces almost every day. You know, refuses to tell us what Project 50 is all about. He's the winner today, 0.069 ETH for retweeting the room. Thank you, Project 50, and we hope you'll share some alpha with us soon about what exactly is Project 50, because I have no idea. I know about Project 69, but I have no idea about Project 50.
I was going to say something similar, yeah.
For Project 420, yeah, all over it. Robot Fish Girl, you want to give us we got a heart. We got a heart sent to us by Project 50. That's the best we're going to get today. All right, Robot Fish Girl, can you please give us a POAP? If you want to. Can I not hear Robot? I can't hear her saying
I can't hear you there.
RFG, are you there? Did she just get selectively rugged at this exact moment?
Is the password
Cardno?
Is the password silence?
She did indeed. Yeah, the password is just space. All right, let's see if we can add Robot Fish Girl one more time, so she can give you the secret code for the POAP. Robot Fish Girl, trying again, going once, going twice.
Did I miss the POAP?
Wait.
She's right.
We missed the POAP because you left.
I didn't leave. My Twitter crashed at the perfect time. So are we ready for a POAP then?
Yeah, we've been ready.
Great. All right. So POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. It's a free NFT we give away every single day here at the Noun Square. If you don't have the POAP application already installed on your mobile device, just go to poap.xyz. That's POAP.xyz. Once you have the POAP application loaded up and ready to go, you're going to tap the Mint button in the bottom right-hand corner. Then you're going to tap Secret Word. And today's secret word is Titania Nouns. Titania Nouns. That is TITANIANOUNS. I'll spell that for you one more time. TITANIANOUNS. All lowercase, all one word.
And of course, in order to prove that you are not a Terminator, you need to play a game given to us by POAP where you have to count to 1,000 as quickly as possible by skipping numbers here and there to prove that you are not a robot. This is not our idea. This is POAP's idea. We apologize, but hopefully you're able to prove that you're not a computer and collect this POAP today.
Yep.
Turns out I have been a computer multiple times.
Yeah,
and I didn't
same.
even know it.
Oh, hard same. Yeah. No, I gave up and I meant from the links that we get when we make the POAPs.
Don't say that because our listeners can't do that.
That's true.
Yeah. Just be patient with it. You know, we believe in you. You can do it. And you know what? The POAPs are really worth it. They're all done by artists from our community, have been done by artists in our community since June of last year when we started doing these daily shows. So if you have been missing the POAPs, you're missing out on some great art.
They're seriously
some
incredible.
really great artists.
Actually,
really great.
they just, a bunch of them just got updated pretty recently. And I just went back and looked, and some of the art is seriously fantastic, because when you do mint it originally, you see a placeholder image because obviously the art isn't done yet. The POAPs are based on the noun that we mint that day. So if you haven't for a while, make sure you go back and you look at your POAP collection and look at all the Noun Square POAPs that you've gotten so far, because the art's fantastic.
The next batch is also insane. I've seen the next few weeks. There's quite a few that I'm about to upload. I keep getting more and then go, I'll just add that week as well before I upload all of them, because the upload process is quite lengthy. I have to get the event ID and then the image and drop it in a live chat with the team. So it's like one by one.
Oh,
so if it's another week to add, I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it all at once instead of pulling up a team member and doing them all separately. So
just speaking here live.
Nice.
Just speaking here live about how difficult it is to get the POAP these days with the new captcha game, and how amazing the art is and how much we want people to collect it. I think we need to put our heads together this week, guys, and we'll figure out a way that maybe NOMO minters can get access to some minting links and give a secondary way for people to pick up those POAPs somehow.
That could be a good idea.
Already in the works.
Okay, well, let's get it done so that our folks can collect these beautiful pieces without, pulling their hair out.
You should be seeing some of them on daylight.xyz pretty soon.
Excellent.
Just look at the question.
Yes.
For Ben, do you know anything about what's moving forward? Because I believe forgeries starts today, does it not?
Oh yes, I think that's today. I think the noun gets drawn today at some point.
Damn.
So if you minted forgeries, I think you can go through and play that little process and see if you in fact have a noun or.
I'm checking it right now.
Let's all have a look at forgeries.wtf and see if any of us.
It's still linked to the Zora.
Yeah, it's tonight.
Right now.
I want to say it's like 8 p.m. Eastern, something like that. It's in the Discord if you go take a look.
So will forgeries.wtf change at that point? Because right now, when you press play, it brings you to the Zora mint.
Yeah, I think it'll change at that time. But if you go in the Discord, you'll see some information about it.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, authentication today at 8 p.m. EST.
That's crazy. Someone's going to win a noun.
8 p.m. EST, what's that? That's like just under 3.5 hours. How exciting.
Do we have a soapbox at that time? We could probably just jump on here. Could be fun.
Yeah, ask Gami if he wants to do it live. We'll do it live.
I mean,
that's going to be like an hour after the Little Nouns show, right before. It's right before Little Nouns show and Daily Drop. So yeah, we've got the free space.
All right, nice. We'll get back to you on that. By the way, just look at this. Look at this dice with all these little Nouny Clock affiliate badges and the gold badge and the square PFP. What a group.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love seeing it. It's just like all of the different PFPs now have a little square Nouny Clock. I think that's pretty cool.
The Nouny Clock follows you wherever you go now, whether you like it or not.
It feels very official and also a little creepy.
Forced affiliation.
And I wonder if you can change your name with this Twitter Blue, because they just force Twitter Blue on you when you've got the affiliation thing. So, yeah, I'm not sure because I'm about to change my PFP again. So we're going to find out.
You're about to find out. I wonder if you have to get approved by the Noun Square. Can Ben change his PFP?
Yeah, maybe.
We'll put it through corporate.
I'm going to log on to the clock and be like, no.
Ben may not. All right. Of course, we're going to play you out with a nounish song. In other words, a song that relates to today's noun, which is a really, really fast car. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Jeff, again. It was super fun.
Thanks, man. This was good.
I'll send you the details for tomorrow's Nouns AI call if you want to join us. That'd be super fun.
Hit me up. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciated it, and it's really great to be here.
Thanks, everybody. See you in just over an hour for the Little Noun Show at 6 p.m. EST. Let's go. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You're a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. I've been working at a convenience store.
This is like the hipster version.
I can't hear anything but this music, so I don't know what you're saying. If you asked if that's Tracy Chapman, it is not. It is not the Tracy Chapman.
Yeah, this is like the hipster remix.
Remix.
Oh no, here comes the build up.
What? Are you playing me? I regret giving everyone the power to make me laugh through a soundboard.
You wanna get high? You wanna get high? Why am I picking on RFG today? I don't know.
Why are you doing this?
Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.